Some dude taking notes right now.
Yeah. Okay. Pubic hair. Check.
Well, it's going to be 316. He's going to be listening and be like, oh, all right.
Wait, what? Huh?
Yeah.
Wait, did he say big nipples or something? What size is the areola for the ideal relationship?
You know my flow, ill to the Izzo. From a whistle kiddo, sipping up on the Kisco. Never listen Cisco, I listen Jada Kisto. Hip hop to the disco, reggae, the list goes on. Take this playlist.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 6 of the What is Sensitivity podcast. This is our second episode in 72 hours. We've had a very busy weekend, which we can't get into yet. Save that for the next. But today, I believe we're going to talk about love, loss, and relationships. Probably just relationships, not love and loss. Maybe love too, but not loss. Maybe loss.
And not exactly with a significant other, correct?
Right. Inanimate objects, animals, which are obviously significant.
Attack helicopters?
If you sexually identify as one, of course.
Good. Well, what did we do last night? I think that's a good place to start, at least with relationships, camaraderie, stuff like that.
Yeah. We went to see Bam Bam fight.
Which was awesome.
Yes. We won't give away all the details because we got to talk to Bam Bam. Mm-hmm. We could talk about the trip up there, the camaraderie between us. It actually worked out pretty well getting over there.
Yeah. In my car that has no AC.
It was fine, dude.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad?
No, not at all. It's fine. Well, I mean, like, I'm just a sweaty dude, so.
Oh, same here.
Yeah.
Which anywhere I go, my back is always sweaty to some extent. It's so bad.
You can count on that.
Yeah. Hey, give me a hug, but just like not too much of one, so it doesn't just fuck it up.
Give me a hug and a towel.
Yeah. Hey, nice to see you. Oh my God, that is gross. No, it was cool though because we met up and then it was me, you, Huey, and then our buddy A-Raj. I'm gonna start calling him Alex Hernandez.
You understand that Alex Hernandez killed himself a week ago.
Yes, but apparently we were fucking up. It was Aaron Hernandez, correct?
Dude, I just sounded like a fucking idiot again about this. God. So I was listening to that last episode, and I'm just the whole time I'm listening to it back, I'm just like, fuck. This is going to sound really funny with voiceover, but we fucked up. We did some white things with that.
It's all good.
I think his name was Alejandro Ramirez, if you ask me. Mm-hmm. Richard Ramirez, perhaps.
There we go.
Yeah.
I like it. No, but yeah, so we all met together and drove out to Studio City to go watch fight. Mm-hmm. And we stayed there for a long time. Yeah,
so on the ticket, it said the fight starts at 6:30, and we're stressing out-ish about, like, we're going to be there on time. Huey didn't show up on time, and we're just like, what the fuck? He's not even here. What do we do? Maybe you weren't stressing out that much, but 3:16 had a little bit of time. Sorry, A-Rod.
You're good.
I brought it's funny. So A-Rod, right now, we're going to brainstorm a name for him. First thing that comes off your head, 1, 2, 3, go.
Boston.
I'm going to call him 316.
316. There we go.
316.
316.
It holds weight.
There we go. I like it.
It'll hold on its own in water.
Yeah.
So I meid up with 316 and he's like, hey, look, I got him a gift basket, which that was fucking hilarious.
That was so fun. It was wrapped. He tried. I don't know if he meant for it to just be the most like fucking.
I think he meant for it to be fucked
haggard,
up.
Like, yeah, piece of shit that you've ever put together with beef jerky in it. But he was pumped on it. He's like, I got him some beef jerky. I got him some chocolates, I got some other hard candies in here because I know he wants to eat that after his fight. But if he loses, it says congratulations and pretty much just a play on his name, bitch. And then if he wins, it was like awesome or something. I can't remember, but it main thing is just it was wrapped in saran wrap.
It looked like an Easter basket for a fat kid.
Yeah.
Or like some
trying to do like a gourmet gift basket out of gas station items.
A gourmet Section 8 basket. Yeah. Merry Christmas. Here's your Pringles and your jerky. I hope you love it. Don't eat it all at once.
The thought that counts.
Fucking pop filters. I fucking hate these
things. But yeah, he had that all ready to go, which was extremely thoughtful. And he's the only one that carried through because we were all like, yeah, we should do that. We should get him something. And none of us did except for him.
Well, you're right. That was really cool of him. So I met up at 316 and he shows me the basket first. I'm like, all right, cool. You did something good. This is hilarious. And like you had said, you can't really tell if he had seriously done it, if it was like the novelty of a fucked up gift.
Yeah.
I took it as that. So I was like, this guy is fucking hilarious. He might have been dead serious. He meant it. This is probably what he gives his family for Christmas, is saran wrapped baskets of Pringles and beef jerky.
But they're pizza flavored, okay?
His dad's like, son, you never disappoint.
Yeah.
So I met up at 316 and he shows me that. And then he says, and I got some beers for us too. And I'm like, dude, this kid is killing it.
Yeah.
And 316 just turned 18. I love calling him 316.
That's a great name.
I want to identify as a numeric order.
Yeah.
So he's like, I got some beers. And he shows me 2 Tecates and an IPA. And I was like, oh, that's what you got. Oh, see? So I didn't even think about that. First, I thought Chris was driving. And
Keep going.
yeah. And I would have to, he's normally cool with us like drinking in the back of his car or whatever. It's a funny thing. It's a funny thing to push that onto somebody. I'm personally not that happy with it because I don't have tinted windows.
Yeah.
Other people, if they have tinted windows, it's a really dick. You know what? I'm sorry. You drove, and I'm sorry for that.
I have tinted windows.
I know you do. But it's a tough situation to put somebody in. This isn't Texas, everybody. This is Southern California.
Yeah, but I mean, you guys, drinking, which, by the way, you were a gentleman because you brought Johnny Walker. Was it Black Label?
Yes.
Yeah, which was much appreciated by the whole of the car. I mean, obviously, I couldn't take part, but I know everyone liked it. If we got pulled over, then yeah, that'd be a different story. But it wouldn't be too bad. I think officers would more so be like, "Hey, good on you for driving," and
Right.
you could just always say that those were drank earlier. You could just toss them in the back because I kind of have like a hatchback style.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the whole time.
Yeah.
But just a sidetrack, when we had gotten pulled over with Bam Bam that one time, when you had gotten pulled over in his car, I think the officer had said something alluding to it's an open back, so it doesn't count as the trunk.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, that guy was a total dick.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, 316's there. He pulls out his 3 beers. I'm like, we got to do more than that. So we go down to the liquor store around the street, around the corner, and I get the Johnny Walker, but I only get the how small is that? There's a small, medium, large. It's
Not a fifth.
not a fifth, but the next step down.
Yeah.
So I come back in the car with that, and with Johnny Walker, it's not necessarily something you need to chase with, but I got a bottle of Coke for him because I'm sure he's really used to just picking up whatever bottle of booze he sees and chasing it with whatever soda that he sees. So I get that and I show him it, and he was just like, "That's all you got for us?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you're welcome, bud." But
Well, it was in hindsight too. For Huey, was like, I have a fifth of JMO in my car. I should have brought that too.
oh, yeah.
But I mean, in retrospect, super good that it turned out the way it did, because if we would have been drinking all that and then waiting all that time, we would have been hungover by the time it comes time for the fight. So
it would have been excessive.
yeah, but no, we got there at 6:30. Excellent time, by the way.
Yeah, you killed it. I don't
Yeah.
know how fast you were going, but you made it.
I was like 75 and a 65, not too bad, and
not bad.
flow of
It's
traffic. Yeah. And then Huey knew his way around town, so he was helping me
He
co-pilot.
is really helpful to be around the valley in LA with.
Yeah.
I've definitely been in some situations where I'm like, I don't know where the fuck I am. Before I had an iPhone, he was just like, dude, make a fucking left here, go right there. What do you fucking do? Come on. I'm like, all right, dude.
Yeah. But I think like those types of things are really cool where you kind of get together. Everyone's got a plan. I mean, loosely at least.
Yeah.
Of like, this is where we're going. We've got this support that needs to happen. So everyone kind of like grabs a hold of, the energy or whatever needs to happen. Sorry, there's a golf course next door, so that's the the golfers stopping.
I just heard something. No.
Yeah. But no, it's always cool when everyone kind of has something common to kind of drive towards and enjoy. And especially when it's one of your buddies doing something, I think it brings a whole different dynamic to it. And then, you got the excitement once you're in that place to like, all right, yeah, we're gonna suck the dick of watching all these other fights before our buddy comes up. But
It's funny. I could tell everyone was really worn down, and we like after the second fight, you're like, oh man. And it took, what time did they start? 8:30?
yeah,
Okay. And you can't predict these fights. Some of them end in 30 seconds. Other ones go all 3 rounds. So I could tell people were worn down, and the whole time I'm just like, I'm so happy to be here. And it's not me pointing a finger at anyone else. I just realized that like, because I'm such a hermit, doing stuff like that for me, it becomes an event for me where I'm like, I'm not even thinking about my own life or whatever else I'm doing. It's just I get to forget about everything, and especially with something like blood sport fucking happening in front of you.
yeah.
That was intense.
It was. Well, what was intense too was like all these different. So we're not the only ones that are going there to support somebody.
Not at all.
You have all these other different groups coming together. It's really.
There was 8 fights, and each person that's fighting has a team of what, at least 20 people, if not 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was nuts to like. Everyone's going there with the hopes that their boy or whoever they're supporting is going to come out with a win.
Yeah.
And then you have you got people riding super highs, and you got people just what the fuck just happened, dude? Like,
so disappointed.
Am I still this guy's friend? Do I want to hang out with him?
People that were wearing a shirt or turning it inside out and drawing someone else's face on it, the opponent's face.
Yeah. Dude, I heard some pretty slanderous, fucked up shit while we were there, though.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you hear?
Like, people just cheering on their buddy, but just talking the harshest shit about the other person. And it's like, I mean, I don't know if all these guys are fighters. Judging by Bam Bam's demeanor and kind of other fighters, they learn a discipline and they have this very true respect about pretty much the art form of the craft that's being handled.
Right.
And then you got fucking
Joe Schmo.
yeah, my ass or whoever sitting on the couch with a beer going fucking rip his head off, kill him,
Stop
shit
that faggot.
Yeah. But I was constantly hearing just other than the guy that said kick his ass, Seabass, which was fucking
That
money.
was fucking hilarious. I think everyone had to take a chance to look back and congratulate him.
Yeah. But other than that, you're hearing people say shit take him home in a body bag, shit like that.
Yeah.
And I'm just all right, cool, get hyped up a little bit, but come on, man.
There was okay, I got to dig into this. Is going to be long, but just bear with me, okay? So a lot of these people are from LA, the Valley, Simi and North, basically. And when you get out there to something like that, there's this weird bro culture. And especially if it's a Caucasian male, that it's a part of the bro culture. A lot of them come off as white supremacy-esque.
Yeah, I can see that.
I got a little vibe from one of the fights that the row of people behind us was like,
oh, those guys were kind of intense because I was not picking their fighter.
yeah.
And I said it a little too loud to 316. Because he wanted to bet, because me and you had bet on a couple fights.
Which I lost both.
Yeah. But also, I got the benefit of the doubt of you already kind of picking it, and then I was able to compare both of them.
Yeah, but you had already as soon as I picked the other person, you're like, you idiot. All right. Way to lose $5, you dummy. But so something that 316 did, I'm not even going to go back into that whole bro thing. Basically, there was a large group of people that were pretty slicked back or shaved heads and just tattoos, long dicky, shit like that.
Yeah,
and,
neck tats, shit like that.
Right. And 316 is in the corner, and when their fight comes up, he's like, who do you think's going to fucking lose? And I'm like, I don't want to bite on this one. And he was like, come on. I bet you it's this guy. And he's pointing to the guy that these people are with. I'm like, 316. This isn't the time.
Yeah. You need to go to the bathroom right now?
Yeah. I wanted to go outside and think about what she said.
Yeah.
But he kept pushing it and pushing it. It was probably 2 or 3 times he said it to me, and it kept getting louder and louder. I was like, look, 316, keep cool.
Yeah. But at the same time, he has the right mentality of you should not be coming into this place and wanting to, just because somebody else has a disagreement on who's going to win, what's going to transpire in the fight.
Right.
Because they're purely just sizing them up. Just, this is...
It's black and white brass tacks. It's not an emotional relationship kind of thing.
Yeah.
It is. It's not when it comes down to the fight.
Yeah, you need to have respect for everyone else that's there. So.
You know what we haven't talked about the whole time? The elephant in the room, Ludacris.
Well, so I was going to bring it up. So there's all these relationships and people that are obviously coming there to support their voice. He was clearly there to see somebody. It was...
Yeah.
I don't know if the guy was just playing off of all right, I'm going to play... I saw that Ludacris came in, so I'm going to play him as a walkout song.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, it seemed like he had a relationship with this person.
Yeah.
He was into it. And that was one of the better fights. Other than Bam Bam's, that was one of the better fights. It went all 3 rounds, and those guys were going at it. At least it wasn't too much of the ground game that there's just nothing's happening.
Right.
They were getting up, going they were pretty much exchanging blows. So you could tell Ludacris's boy was clearly a boxer. Yeah, because that's all he wanted to do. But he was much skinnier than the other guy and still managed to throw down.
Yeah, it's funny when you see people. Not to step away from Ludacris. That was awesome, by the way. I have very few celebrity sightings, and when I saw that, I was just like, all right, I got it.
Yep.
Spank bank.
Yeah.
But some of these fights so we watched. There was the guy that had the kid.
Yeah.
And he was really scrawny, and he was fighting against somebody else. Was that the Armenian dude? Had the tattoos on his back.
like out of the other 12. Yeah. No, I know who you're talking about. I think his ladies were actually sitting in front of us, maybe. No, that's another guy.
No, that was another fight. Which I wanted to fucking shoot him.
Was he a couple? He was a couple before Bam Bam, correct?
Yeah, I think he was in the middle.
Yeah. But I mean, that's great to see. There was another guy that fought, and he was, his wife was pregnant. So, he brings that up. And I mean, obviously, you're seeing these people throw down and put it all on the line. And like we were discussing a little while ago, that they're not just fighting for a purse. These guys are fighting, obviously, for reputation. They need to get this record. Like, they need to get it up so they can get to a place where they can support or assist, their circle. Yeah. So that was probably one of the coolest parts about going there. Because, I mean, I've been to a couple fights, but nothing like that, where it was a much more intimate environment. You can actually see, because ultimately tickets are just being sold to close family and friends. There's not that many.
Outside people?
Yeah, there's not that many.
I thought about that and I was like, this is actually a really... I'd said this last night, and I say things like this all the time when I walk away. It's like watching a movie, and you're like, dude, I could be Spider-Man. But when I walked out of there, I was like, that was actually for $60. That was really cheap to go do something. If let's say I got like a room or something next to there, and it was some stranger's fight, it wasn't even anyone that I knew. It'd be kind of entertaining to do for a night.
Yeah.
Not to get there on time and then wait for fucking 2.5 hours and then go through all these, The anticipation, that was the most difficult part, I think, was the anticipation for us, was waiting for the last fight. Mm-hmm. And
it made it a little bit better too, though, because I liked that we had so much invested. We've gone through this trek of watching all these other fucking fights happen, just to see our guy go at it. Mm. And I liked seeing Bam Bam's fight. Dub that over, but I liked seeing Bam Bam's fight because you could see after watching all these guys brawl, and pretty much I can't say that a lot of these guys had much of a game plan or that they were necessarily that skilled. They were just in there just to fucking throw bows and do shit. I mean, obviously they've got trainers and stuff like that, but when I saw Bam Bam fight,
it was a skilled fighter.
Yeah, he took this dude down in an extremely like clinical way.
Not to give away what took place, but he was very technical and skilled.
Yeah,
compared to his fighter.
Yeah, he got him like it kind of in a pickle. It was good.
Yeah, very contentious to say the least.
Yeah. So that was at least we had something to kind of like benchmark against from early on.
Yeah, that's it. If we had seen his fight first and then watched all the other ones, we'd be like, these are fucking garbage.
Yeah.
There was the one where I think it was the guy that had the kid was fighting the other Armenian guy. That was the weirdest fight. I just got to bring this up. Did you notice that he never made eye contact with the guy?
I didn't. No.
He looked at his chest the entire time. And using his preferred, I'm not inside the ring in his head and understanding why he's doing these things. I never watch fighting anyway, so for me to say something like this is like pretty outlandish.
Well, everyone's got their different style. You noticed the one dude that had I prefer to call him Crazy Horse because you know who I'm talking about.
He was that's who I lost $5 on.
Yeah. Hey, he was scrappy, but again, he was almost too hyped up. He wasn't trying to
used all his energy just running around the ring and
staring at the other dude. The other dude was just like, I'm just here to do a job,
Yeah, let's get this done with, you fucking weirdo.
Well, and apparently it was a title fight too. So I don't know. You kind of have. He just had people in his corner that maybe weren't helping him out as much as they should have. But
I don't necessarily think that is the issue. I think this guy's gonna do whatever the fuck he's gonna do.
Yeah.
Everyone has that friend that it's like you can't talk to him about it. Like he's just gonna do it.
That's true. Yeah.
And he's definitely that token staple friend that's just like, well, let's let fucking Speedy Gonzalez go punch a cat and then bring it back in the house and finish off the rest of the party with a dead cat around his neck.
This is my present to everybody.
Hola!
Well, so, I mean, on that tip of at least, the composure, things like that they have to have, there's people that aren't invested in these guys emotionally or anything like that. Mm-hmm. There was the VIP area where Ludacris was sitting and stuff. So these are probably managers and things like that are looking at these guys like, all right, am I going to back them later on? Am I going to sponsor them?
Yeah.
All of that. So that part was cool to see too, because it's they're totally removed, yet they have to be very calculated and looking at what these guys are doing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. That happens, I guess, a lot in life where you don't necessarily realize it, and people are doing that.
What do you mean? People are watching on the sidelines?
Like employers, stuff like that. Other people that you're going to end up tangling with at some point.
Yeah. It's definitely weird to look at a person not as a personal relate. That's something I have a really hard time doing, is working with somebody and not building a personal relationship with them. Mm-hmm.
Well, like when we were talking with G though, there's gonna be overlap.
Yeah. And it depends on like the kind of work you have. If you're an engineer inside of a line of people that are like, just little that are spokes inside this wheel of a process, maybe not. But if you're a part of a collaborative experience where you have to dig a little bit deeper than what's on your resume, then I can definitely see that.
Yeah. I mean, the personal and professional relationships are always they're obviously with overlap, but they're always going to complement one another. I feel like if I learn something in my personal relationships, I immediately need to take whatever I had there and translate it into something professional and vice versa.
That's good practice.
Yeah. It doesn't always work out perfectly, nor do I always apply it. And then it's always like, you dumbass, why didn't you do that?
They don't like hash. Fuck. They don't dab.
Yeah. But I mean, so, all right. So other than like friendship and camaraderie.
We were talking about, what is that called? Relationships with the opposite or same sex.
Your significant other?
Significant other.
Yeah. Somebody you're deeply emotionally entangled with.
Yes. The reason that came up was because we were talking about how 316, because 316 is 10 years younger than me, 9 years younger than you, almost 10. Mm-hmm. And the way that he perceives things as far as relationships and professional experiences, you could talk to him. I think you said it best when he was asking you about your relationship or you're trying to explain to him that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, now I forget because got too wrapped up in thinking of dudes smashing each other's faces. But I can't really. I'm pissed off that, and now I see the struggle that my parents went through when they're raising me. And you're like, you don't understand, like,
yeah.
But it's almost like you. I mean, obviously, your brain starts to take on too much, and you can't remember vividly how you were when you were a certain age. Mm-hmm. I feel like I was a little bit more present than maybe 316, but then at the same time, I look back and I'm like, no, you weren't, you piece of shit. Like, you were definitely at that age when you're about 18. You're just in the moment. You're learning. You're just trying to like be a sponge and grab everything. Mm-hmm. Later on, you're a little bit more calculated. Like we were talking about with like these managers and stuff. Like you start to see, all right, there's this type of not like show I need to put on, but I need to actually understand where the pieces are being played in this relationship. So then that way we can be the most fruitful with it or, advantageous, whatever.
Yeah. I think when you're younger and you're into a deeper relationship, you totally forget about these things that are actually pretty important when you're older. Like, do they work? Do they have hobbies? Do they have something more than me in their life to care about?
Yeah.
What's their family life like? How does that affect them? Really odd things that at this point, because I've been single for like a year and a half now, happily and willingly after whatever I was going through with my ex, I'm a lot more methodical about if I were to date somebody, why would I do that? Mm-hmm. And it's not necessarily like, oh, that's a deal breaker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She has a divorced parent. That's a deal breaker. It's more of like...
You pull up like a SWOT analysis.
Let's get a jump to conclusions, Matt, in front of us, baby. But it's more so of like, I know what some red flags in a relationship that could potentially be really dysfunctional be. Mm-hmm. One of them being like, when you hang out with them and you become their world.
Yeah.
That's really unhealthy for anybody. You should have your own personal life and do your own personal shit. Not saying that strictly of like, forget them, Yeah.
Yeah.
But more so of like, you need to be just as happy on your own as you can be with somebody that you are without somebody.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know. I think another one, dishing out the advice for all the people that are listening to somebody who's single.
Mm-hmm. Some dude taking notes right now.
Yeah. Okay. Pubic hair, check.
Well, it's going to be 316. He's going to be listening and be like, oh, all right.
Oh, wait, what? Huh?
Yeah.
Wait, did he say big nipples or something? What size is the areola for the ideal relationship? It's a lot of, now, again, back at this point, I'm a lot more methodical about like, if I were to date somebody, it's like, what's the chemistry that we have off the bat? Do we have chemistry off the bat? If we don't, is that something you can work through? Is it work out more so? Because at this point, when I'm looking at a future relationship, it's definitely... if I marry somebody, I'm not saying if I'm in a long-term relationship, if I marry somebody on paper, it's going to be a business kind of thing to where we both benefit from this and we're both in a working relationship of some kind.
Yeah.
Outside of that, if I want to be with someone long-term, it's more of like, that idea is so foreign to me right now. Could I work with them? Could I go on my own and do whatever I wanted to? Obviously not being a bastard and cheating on them like a scumbag. Mm-hmm. which I have done in the past, and I've done that out of spite and out of like wanting something else that was outside of that. And obviously the smart decision is you probably shouldn't be in a relationship if your head's in that place.
Yeah.
And vice versa for the other person. If they're going to do it too, then it's like, why are you even together? You're asking to be more miserable together.
Yeah.
So it's a culmination of a lot of these different things. But basically, when I look at a relationship now compared to when I was 18, it's a lot more of a like a very adult experience compared to some lust-filled like, well, she really knows how to give head, and it was really cool because I could stay at her house overnight. So,
no, it's funny that you say that because I was just thinking, when you're that age, it's like, well, we've had sex this many times, so
it's probably time.
It's getting pretty serious. Yeah,
it's probably time to get married.
Yeah, but yeah, you do, and it is sad too though because you lose that naivety a little bit, and then you become more guarded. You have these walls, so then that is what requires us as we get older to kind of like do this front loading ahead of time.
Yeah.
And go through this fucking like dating.
It's tumultuous and taxing to have to like sit there and be like, okay, let's go back to the logic checklist.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, you got to take something from every experience, I guess. This coming from a man that's like I haven't done a lot of dating or anything like that.
Yeah, but I mean, the relationship you're in now is like for the most part pretty functional.
Yeah.
You're both adults. You're both pretty much on your own, or at least doing your own things. It's not like you're not money bags and she's not like it's not some weird dysfunctional fucking thing.
Yeah, exactly. We at least like kind of go into everything as a unified like couple. As one, essentially.
As a unit?
As a unit. just burrow our ways in there. No, but it's and that's one thing that I've been kind of fortunate, I think. At least I haven't done a lot of dating, but relationships I have been in, they've been in for a long period of time. So within that, I feel like I've kind of like learned within those to kind of like stick with something, and exactly like what you said, like see it as a partnership, as like coworkers to some extent. Like this is
right. Obviously, don't be a sociopath about it and be like, well, how did they show up on time?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that part's tough too because I'm a chronic like I'm like chronically late all the time.
Really?
To some extent, like 5 minutes late.
Okay.
So stuff that's not crazy. Like in California, it's kind of like common knowledge that some people. Most people are going to arrive like within 10 minutes of whenever the meeting is supposed to take place.
Right.
That's how I look at it in my social sphere. If it's professionally, then I'm always 10 minutes early. But it just depends on what's appropriate. So with my girlfriend, I'm like, she loves me unconditionally, hopefully. So 10 minutes is not going to be that big of a deal.
Right.
Boy, am I wrong most of the time.
Dude, that's funny. I've never been on that side of it. I've always been on the other side where I'm like, we're an hour late now, then I just start to slowly hate them. And then as the night goes on, I'm like, I don't even want to be here with you. Like you ruined it for me because you were 15 minutes late.
Mm-hmm. Well, that part of it, me and her always butt heads because she sees it as such like a must-have, must-do. Like this time, like we've got everything planned out. Whereas I often see it and I'm like, all right, this was the schedule. Like this is the schedule that was laid out.
Plans have changed, baby.
Yeah, but also like I've communicated with multiple people on here. I've like kind of know what's gonna happen here in the general scope. Yeah, so I know that this isn't gonna happen at this time. That we need to go and meet these people. And also sometimes I kind of like, all right, I'm gonna be with another group at the time of arrival. So maybe they'll be the shield. Like us as a whole, it's more acceptable rather than just the finger pointing at one person that was late. So,
yeah.
That kind of always makes it a little bit better.
You don't want to be friends with those people, anyways.
But and it's good too though, because then you do learn the discipline. You learn to have a little bit more accountability on that end. And again, it translates. So I always think of her resounding voice of like, why the fuck didn't we leave earlier? To like things professionally where that's like the thing that's in the back of my head. So professionally I deliver,
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in under promise, over deliver.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to get there. I would blow so much smoke up people's ass and be like, dude, we'll do this, we'll do that. And it's going to be great. And now I'm like, whatever you do in life, set the expectation low for the other person on the outside, and that way you at least meet par, and if not exceed it, above and beyond.
Yeah.
At least I try to do that now, and it's a tough practice for me.
Yeah. I mean, that's the Ritz-Carlton route. That's what they do. Surprise and delight. They pretty much, what they do is they always said it like that. Sorry, that's really weird knowledge to have.
No, I mean, you have a professional background understanding these things.
Well, I mean, I worked in like we talked about last time in HR for a while. So with that, I worked really closely with somebody who was like a general manager of a portion of Ritz-Carlton, and like got all the inside scoop on certain things that they have. It's nothing special. Obviously, they have the money to blow on certain things, but they do purposefully put forth a foot of everyone already knows the standard. So we obviously have to deliver on that, but the intention is always to hit above a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in that way, it seems as if it was something that's unexpected for the guest. And you end up, I mean, that's how and professionally, personally, like you're going to end up having things, transpire that'll make your career, whatever, your relationship turn into something that like not even you could have expected.
Right.
So that's always kind of a cool
On
rule of
par
thumb.
with the lack of expectation on the other person's end.
So when you show up, look disheveled, like just be like,
Sorry, everybody. I know I'm an hour early. I'm sorry.
my fee's $3 an hour. What the fuck do you want?
You're like my 5th client this week.
Yeah. Or in my case, I don't get paid anything, so it's
You should show up with that attitude.
Yeah. Look, are you gonna buy the house or not? Come on.
Just get the keys. Just touch it.
Yeah. No, but you don't want to have the hungry eyes. So I think it's.
That's a really hard thing to do, especially in a sales experience.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And building that relationship is so tough. For like every word that comes out of your mouth cannot seem like
Desperate.
you have an end goal of like you're obviously my paycheck.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Even though they totally understand that.
Yeah.
But even if you can create I'm not going to say facade, but like the illusion of them, dude, these dogs are awesome. I got to tell you, I had a dog. So I have a dog at my house. It's this giant Akita. And he's just fucking lazy. He's really smart, but he's just so fucking lazy.
He's a cool dog. He's got a lot of fur.
Yeah. Which is terrible for where we live. We've had dogs die because of the amount of fur that they had, and they get like weeds and other stuff caught in them.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get those
But I
little,
digress.
little foxtails. Yeah. Go back to your point.
I don't even remember my point. What were we talking about? The Ritz-Carlton?
Yeah, but we were just.
Oh, I got an example of this. So I had worked when I had to do sales and like really intense sales for the AV company I was working for at this 5-diamond resort. Basically, what I was the director of audiovisual, which is like a subcontracted faction. Very few hotels will pay their own people to do something like this because it takes a lot of. It just becomes its own entity, and they get the commission off it. So why not? Why not do something like that as opposed to take on the liability of them having the name tag of the hotel on it?
Gotcha.
At the exact same time that this was happening, I was definitely set up to be in this position. It was the main guy had gotten fired. He just couldn't adapt to the technology. It was ironically really simple what he had to do. He had to adapt to a new application to learn how to sell stuff, and he was like 50 something, totally out there, like lost his mind years ago. Really personable, and he was a great salesperson because of that. He would drop what he was doing at any time of the day to do it. A little excessive for your own personal life, but that's what his life was.
Yeah.
So he gets fired because of that. The regional manager really likes me because I had spent like 60, 70 hours a week backlogging his sales, calling clients and saying, look, I know this event was a year ago, but can you please pay for it?
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
So you were just in collections pretty much.
For the first 6 months, I was 100% collections. I would show up. I didn't even have to work out of there. I would work from home. I would work constantly to call these people, trace them down, then work with the accounting department and say, can you match up this purchase order with this, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Cool. You guys get your commission cut. We get paid. Cool.
Yeah.
In the end, that's why she wanted to hire me. She was like, oh, you can do that, so you can do everything else. And at the time, it was right when I started just kind of not giving a shit, partying more and all this. I was making a shitload of money. I was hourly. I was making like $20-something an hour, working 70, 80 hours a week. And to do that when you're like 23 or 24, it was awesome.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool, fuck it, I'll do this. I'm more than ready for this. I was totally not ready. I didn't know how to manage people. I still never want to manage a person in my life again. And so that's another good point to relationships. The people that I had worked with at one point, we were all really good friends. Like I would go to their houses and everything. And then when I turned into their boss, I was like, that's the same fucking thing, whatever. Totally not true. I should have not taken the position in the first place, A, and then B, I just shouldn't have fucking whatever. it was really difficult to maintain those personal relationships with the people and manage them and get them paid on time and do all these different things. So I started really deteriorating, and I had to take myself out of being in a personal relationship with them, and it really brought me down because I was like, these are like some of my closest friends, and now I can't even fuck with them outside of work.
Yeah.
But the biggest part of it was once I'd already caught up all the sales, I had to build these sales relationships with people, and I was like, I can do this piece of cake. I was so wrong, and I'm just not. I can shoot the shit with anybody. I think you know me well enough now that I'll talk about fucking anything. But when it comes to people and selling them something that's overpriced off the bat, I like couldn't do it. And I was like, you know, you're right. Let me see if I can do this 50, 60, 70% off.
Yeah.
And at that point, we were just like 0, if not 2% profit. And I was like, and partying more and more and more of the stuff. And I'm like, everything's great. Everything's fine. And then finally everything came crashing down. I like left for a little bit, came back, and I was like, oh, shit's fucked up.
Yeah.
So instead of waiting to get fired, I was like, I'm stepping down from this. Choose somebody else. There's someone else that already took my place and lied to me doing this. Just you have them take care of it. But that was my last experience. That was like over 2 years ago, almost 3 years. And that was my last experience in having to sell something to somebody. And I commend you for doing it.
Oh, well, thank you.
Especially without having when you're doing it, it's 100% commission. There's no base to it. There's no like, I'm showing up and I'm getting paid to do it. It's like, you lost a client. Did you talk about that last time?
No.
You want to talk about it?
I mean, I'm just going to get mad, but no, but I mean, like that's part of the course. Like you got to know that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, being relatively new. So like in the whole of it, like, you know, being just barely hitting a year about on, you know, being a practicing real estate agent, you know, people are going to come and go. Like I've already had, this isn't the first person that's burned me on something, you know, so it happens. You just got to take it with a grain of salt and move forward. I learned so much throughout the transaction with those people though, that, you know, I wouldn't trade that for anything.
Right. Invaluable.
Yeah. If I want to like, you know, make shit smell like roses, you know, that's what I'll say. But it really is, it was a shitty situation because I invested so much time. Like, you know, I was talking about, you know, Coachella last time, and, you know, I was at this festival. I spent pretty much like for a good portion of it, I think I spent more time working, like trying to get back to these people and assisting during the early morning to afternoon time than I did actually taking part in what other people were doing, like the group that I was with, and enjoying in that camaraderie and, you know, building those relationships. And, you know, at the end of it to then, you know, be let go from, you know, all we were doing was just, we were in counters on a home that I'd shown multiple listings to. I'd shown them 20 plus listings to in a 25-day period. So, I mean, we're averaging pretty much a home a day, if not more, in the evenings, and, you know, showing these people working around their schedule. And, yeah, we just got into counters. He didn't understand the concept, and I say he because the husband in this relationship just was the one he was the driving force.
Right.
And he just did not seem to understand that when you're in a seller's market, that the seller, it's in, like when someone says the seller's market and you understand that the inventory is low, I mean, just common knowledge is going to tell you, you're going to go back and forth. These people are going to lollygag and take their time on things. And he just didn't seem to get that. He was assuming that maybe I wasn't presenting it properly. That an older agent might be able to do that. And then so that kind of translated for him later on, telling me during the conversation when I got back on Monday, it was just a normal, you know, he had actually no idea that I was gone because we were, you know, just communicating as we normally would. I am. Yeah. But no, it was like there was no need to go out because we're invested in this transaction right now. You can't distract yourself with a wandering eye and go see other homes. Right. And be like, oh, let's put an offer on this one. Let's do on this one. Like, it doesn't work like that. So yeah, we're talking about it, and I wanted to keep it as civil with them as possible and also pull out as much information as I could, because if I'm not going to get this commission, I at least need to understand why this happened, what I can tweak and fix, and then ultimately just change my demeanor. Like, understand, all right, this isn't working for me for some reason, because I had them at one point. So, I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I lost it. Like, I'm the one that ended up ultimately being the reason that this relationship...
As much as you want to point a finger, like, you really have to look back. In order to do better every other time, you're going to have to look back and say, what mistakes did I make?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm ultimately the cause for this relationship to just explode. So,
right.
So, yeah, you know, it was great at least getting that portion and just talking to them a little bit more about it. But it was, yeah, they just didn't really get that this is the way things work. Like, you can't set timelines and then feel heartbroken when these people don't get back to you, but they get back to you the next day. and not stuff that I wasn't telling them already.
Right.
You know, but they just didn't heed my advice. And again, that comes down to my demeanor. Just need to be more direct and really stern with them. And ultimately be the one that's more prepared to actually terminate the relationship on my own. Be like, listen, I don't think this relationship's working out.
Right.
The way that we're kind of communicating, doing business, I think we can get to the head really easily. But when it comes down to pushing it through to the final destination, you're not heeding my advice, so we need to move on. And
Dude,
now I'm prepared to do that, and it's because I've had that experience. So, it's like having an old girlfriend that she gave really good head, but like, it's got to
suck everywhere else in life.
Yeah.
It's time to go.
Yeah.
There's something I was going to bring up to that point of understanding failures. Understanding failure is a building process. Mm-hmm. I've been really stubborn my entire life leading up to like a pretty recent point. So when someone would tell me like, even now it's really hard for me to hear judgment, but now I'm a lot better about like taking it and understanding it. But for years, I mean, entire lifetime, I'm told by my parents who were total hippies, like, you're doing everything great, you're fine, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then to go into the real world and people are like stern with you and people want shit done, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I didn't have in my like lower jobs compared up to the one that I have now, where there's a lot of pressure to deliver and do things. And if you do something wrong, to understand why it is and move forward. Mm-hmm. I wasn't really prepared for that. So it was probably over the last 3 years where I started to really understand any failure that you have, you need to really own it, personify it, whatever way you can to understand what had taken place, what had gone wrong, and to objectively look at what you can do better instead of subjectively saying like, well, it's a lot their fault.
Yeah.
I'm going to have the same attitude throughout this whole thing. And if someone doesn't want to work with me, that is what it is. I'm sure there's a lot of successful people that do that just because of who they are. And they work off of the subjective manner of like, well, I know that I'm the shit, so fuck everybody else. If they work with me, they work with me. If they don't, they don't. Yeah.
I feel at that point they just need to. They're working off of basically an economies of scale of a relationship.
Fucking
though.
Commies.
They're purely just going to be like, I'm going to have enough volume. I'm going to be in contact with so many people. Shit's going to stick at some point.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you look at it objectively, you're more like, all right, let's figure out how to get this in the best manner, because I've been per se like in the lab trying to figure it out behind the scenes. So then when I do come in contact, each of those moments is the most impactful it needs to be, and then we can kind of proceed from there.
Definitely.
Yeah. Really when you look at relationships, it just comes down to subjective or objective in terms of how you're going to look at it and proceed from there.
Yeah. Personal, loving, whatever.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, I don't know, man. Definitely. There's a lot of subjective things you need to hold on to stay true to yourself, personal interests, et cetera, or else you just become this stoic plastic figure in life, and you don't necessarily grow. You become the static thing that never changes. But in work relationships and everything else, just be objective and be ready to take what's going on.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
On that note, should we
Well, yeah, I mean, we should wrap it up. But I think, to kind of tie it into where we were talking about beforehand, like, you got all these other people that are at this fight, and they're looking at it, and they're not looking at it as objectively as they maybe should.
Right.
Because they're talking shit on other people in the crowd, talking shit on other fighters. It really should be kind of about, because the fighters, I'm sure, take it this way, is, all right, to put it in like kind of a normie way, I guess. I'm just going off of one of our comments that we had earlier today, but like, take the L, and then like...
Oh, you're saying it was a normie thing because someone called us out on that comment?
No, that wasn't a normie comment.
Mine?
No, but what that person said, they're like, take the L. They put it in quotation marks. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
That wasn't... All right. Do we have 60 seconds to go over this? And then we're done?
Can I finish this?
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm just so heated.
Yeah. But no, it's like, all right, you got to take that L, and then, the fighters proceed from there. Like, all right, what can I do to pretty much be agile to this situation and adjust and, be better the next time? And then those that were good, they should probably actually still, if they got the W, like still criticize themselves a little bit on like, what could I have done better?
Exactly. If you take every win as like, I did it 100% right, there's nothing else I could have done, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah. But these people that are on the outside looking in and just like talking shit, just like subjectively like being dicks.
Kick his ass, Seabass.
Just like fucking with it and not actually just kind of observing and, taking it from there. Like you should cheer, you should do all that stuff. But I think it needs to be to some extent like in the camaraderie that's appropriate.
Right.
Fuck, I sound like such an SJW right now, dude. Like, just
This
fucking
whole
be
episode has
nice,
been very
whatever.
SJW.
Yeah, but
you got to understand people that we sometimes talk and we're like, this would be a really good thing to present to people. But at the end of the day, I am me and you are you.
Yeah.
And we're going to come back twice as hard because we said all this safe, objective matter.
Yeah, but fuck it. I mean, it's absolutely you gotta take it and just always self-improvement. That's always what you gotta go for.
Definitely. Before we close,
Yeah, go for it.
someone put the shit meme on Reddit that says, I sexually identify as a measure of kilometers per second, which, great, no one ever measures in kilometers per second unless it's a fucking missile or something.
Yeah.
No vehicle's moving that fast. And he says, because I really want to kill myself, km/s, kilometers per second.
That totally went over my head when I first saw that.
What, the meme?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not funny. And then when you understand it, you're like, this is really not funny.
The only thing that got me was the shitty fucking stock photo dude that's on it. Like, he's just
Well,
fucking
wait,
smile.
is this a part of... Oh, this is on Dank memes. There's a whole subreddit dedicated to using stock photos in adding commentary.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, you
don't
showed
surf?
me that.
Yeah, you don't surf is great. So what I had said to this guy is, the world is a funny place. California specifically, our history is rich with people digging really, really deep to try to take the win. Many people during the gold rush came to California digging as deep as they could, promising themselves that they wouldn't stop until they won. However, after entire generations of family and confidants were starving because of the stubborn nature, they could have easily given up, taken the loss, and travel home to safety. You, my friend, decided to take the former route for this meme. Don't be ashamed. Stop digging so deep. Roll up your sleeves and take the L. And some fucking dickhead is like, I agree with your message, but you said, in quotes, take the L, so you're a filthy Mormon. Kill yourself.
Fuck you.
I fucking love the internet. Thank you. And on that note, we're signing off. This is a What is Sensitivity podcast with Rodrigo.
PoBoy.
Peace.
I bring it back like afros and skipping rope. Golden 9, James Bond, Nintendo 64. Kicking the door with the big fofo. Nobody move, everybody on the flow. Nigga, where I'm from, we bang like Holly Grove. Blood run like snotty nose. Niggas put you in a hole. Ice cold. Niggas on the block playing dominoes. Everybody knows.